Hi, happy Wednesday and happy fall equinox. It's pretty easy to think about this time of year as summer ending and something ending, but today throughout practice I encourage you to think about something beginning, right? The fall season, the season most of us love, but to take that into your practice today, to think about every new movement as ushering you and yourself into this new season. And we'll get started in a seated position. So come to find whatever version of a seated position you'd like. You could sit crisscross applesauce, or you could come to sit with your hips on your heels, if that's the one I'm going to take today, just for a little extra side mobility for me. But get nice and steady. Part of the equinox is feeling a bit unbalanced, right? Still a little bit of that summer energy lingering, but definitely some fall energy coming in, slowing us down a bit. Take this time to ground in, feel what parts of you are touching your mat. Sit up nice and tall. And maybe you close your eyes or find a soft gaze down. An option for hands on your thighs or one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. And start to deepen your breath. Filling up all of the way. And exhaling everything out. Take another big breath in. And big breath out. Another big inhale, feel your belly, your chest rise. And a nice slow exhale, maybe a little bit slower than before. Keep these big full breaths throughout your practice today. An option is seal your lips to build a little bit more internal heat, especially as the equinox ushers us into Vata season. It's a little breezier, a little cooler, a little drier. Build that internal heat, that humidity with your Ujjayi breath, your closed mouth breathing. And start to drum your fingers wherever they might be. Maybe even wiggle your toes, move your shoulders, roll your head and neck. One way and then the other. And start to slowly blink your eyes open. Starting off our practice, staying seated. Inhale, reach your arms up high overhead. Stretch through your fingertips and gaze up. See if this doesn't allow you a little bit more length. Really press down with the parts of you that are grounded into your mat. And use that to get a little bit more extension. Take a big inhale. Exhale, baby back bend. Cactus your arms, lift your heart, keep your gaze high. And think about pulling your low ribs in. So you should feel a little bit of core engagement there. Open through your collarbones, draw your shoulder blades together. Take a big inhale. And exhale, draw your palms together in front of you and pull your belly up and in. So we'll turn to the side so you can see a little bit more of that movement. Really drawing, finding that curve of your spine, sending your fingertips actively away from you for essentially that seated cat-cow. So we'll flow those two. Inhale, pull your arms back and open them wide. Exhale, pull your palms together, draw in. Inhale, open. Exhale, pull in. Finding that balance of opening and closing. This time of year is all about balance. One last closing off. And come to sit yourself upright. Maybe you want to shake out your shoulders. That is a little bit of an arm workout. And come into your tabletop. So stack your shoulders on top of your wrists, hips on top of your knees, and take some time to settle in, right? That first initial ascent into the pose isn't always the pose for your body. So pull your belly up and in, spread your fingers wide, and anchor down through the tops of your feet. Feel really grounded here, really still. Take a big inhale, and exhale, sit your hips back. Maybe you keep your knees right where they are and just press into your palms for a moment, drawing them away from you. And then slowly widen your knees and sink down into that child's pose. Take some time here to lengthen through your fingertips, to use that to sit your hips back just a little bit more. Using this child's pose to ground in, forehead or third eye center to your mat, fingertips gripping in, tops of your shins, tops of your feet. Just giving yourself a moment, belly down, heart down, nice and protected, to ground into this very moment, not looking forward to fall, not looking back to summer, but existing in this balance in between. Take a big inhale, big exhale out. On your next inhale, rise up through tabletop, but shift all the way forward and come down to your belly. Legs can stay wide, or you can pull your thighs up and in, but draw your palms back towards your low ribs and keep only a little bit of weight in them. Inhale, baby cobra. Peel your chest up and away from your mat, gaze down the bridge of your nose, and pause here. Keep the tops of your feet anchored in just like you did in tabletop. Squeeze your glutes to press your pelvis in and lift yourself up just a bit more, like there's a string on the back of your head. Take a big inhale. Exhale, lower through center. We'll take 2 more rounds of that, adding a little bit of a roll, really. Inhale, baby cobra, lift up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower. One last inhale to lift up, but this time slide your palms forward, forearms on the mat, and come into that Sphinx pose. So heart is threading through your arms, sending that beam of light forward, but keep your glutes engaged here. Protect your low back. Draw your elbows in towards your ribs. Take a big inhale. Exhale, tuck your toes, come into forearm plank. So really using that core here, draw your belly button up towards your spine, press into your forearms. Just here for a moment, get that core engaged, build that fire. Take a big inhale. Exhale, drop down to your knees, lift your hips up, and come into puppy pose. As you bow your forehead down, think about connecting that third eye to the earth, or if you're feeling like you've got a little extra mobility, maybe you connect your chin. Choose whatever variation helps you stay true to your breath here, keeping it big and full, sending it out. Take one more round of breath here. On your next inhale, rise up. Bring your palms underneath your shoulders. That tabletop we started with. Big inhale. And exhale, downward facing dog. Tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back. Find some movement here. Sway your heels side to side. Maybe you pedal out through your knees, stretching your feet here, your calves. And find whatever version of down dog feels good for you today. So maybe your heels stay lifted. Maybe you have a generous bend in your knees. Maybe you keep it a little bit lighter. But press in through the L shapes of both of your palms. Start to come to some stillness. And inhale, gaze to the top of your mat. Exhale, ragdoll pose. Take a big step forward. Take your time here, right? Fall is all about slowing down a little bit. Maybe you can bring that spirit into your movements today. Let your head and neck sway. Find any sort of arm grip you'd like.
or just leave them kind of resting nice and heavy. And switch out your grip if you did find one. And challenge yourself to look to the back of your space. So really making it so that your head and neck are completely taken over by gravity in the best way. And start to come back to some stillness. Toe heel your feet together to touch. Tuck your chin into your chest. And inhale, slowly rise up, one vertebra at a time again, taking that slowness of fall into this movement. And as you come up, let your shoulders flow away from your ears, shake it out a little bit. An option to bring your palms down by your sides, standing up nice and tall, zipped in. Or option for hands at heart center, whatever feels more grounding for you, more authentic. And take a big exhale out. I invite you to take into your practice today that intention of looking at heading towards something new rather than leaving behind the old. While they both might exist at the same time, a little bit of that shift in perspective that something's not ending, but it's beginning, can make a world of difference as we head into this new season. Take a big inhale, big exhale. Release your palms down by your side, blink your eyes open, and inhale, mountain pose, sweep your arms up high. Again, gaze up. Not always something that we cue, but keep your heart lifted. See if you feel a little bit taller, a little bit lighter this way. Take a big inhale, and exhale, forward fold. Bend in your knees, hands through heart center, come back down to the earth. And in this forward fold, take that perspective of ragdoll. Look towards the back of your space to really release some tension, some compression in your head and neck. Inhale, halfway lift, rise up to bring your palms to your thighs. Hold and breathe here. Shift weight into your toes. Heels stay nice and light. Pull your shoulders back and draw your belly up and in. Take a big inhale. Exhale, low lunge. Step your your left foot back behind you. Press into your toes here and stack your right knee over your right ankle. Right away, draw your left hip forward, right hip back. Give yourself that nice, steady, grounded base and stay light in your fingertips. Inhale, crescent lunge. Rise to stack your shoulders up over your hips. Hold and breathe here. Give yourself some space to adjust. That first pose might not be the pose that feels best in your body. So maybe you bend a little bit more forward into your right knee. Maybe you can lift your back heel up a little bit more. And you can shorten or widen your stance. Everybody's crescent is going to look different. Give yourself some grace. Inhale, reach your arms back up overhead. And exhale, sweep your palms down to come back to frame your foot for low lunge. Inhale, high plank, step your right foot back to meet your left. Give yourself a pause here. Spread your fingertips wide, wrap your elbows forward. Take a big inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hips up and back. Find some movement. Then settle yourself in. We'll flow that again so we can get to that other side. Inhale, gaze to the top of your mat. Exhale, forward fold, toes to touch, nice and slow. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, mountain pose, rise up, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Keep that bend in your knees. Let yourself come forward heavy. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, low lunge. Step your right toes back. Press them into the mat. Widen or shorten your stance however you like. And draw your right hip forward, left hip back. That same movement here, building that muscle memory for a strong base. And stay light in your fingertips. Inhale, crescent lunge. Rise, stack your shoulders up over your hips. Keep your pinkies drawing in towards one another. just to keep your chest nice and open. And then give yourself that same grace to adjust. Maybe you shorten your stance. Maybe you widen it. Check in with how your psoas is feeling, that muscle over your right hip. Maybe you bend a little bit deeper into your front knee. Keep your hips drawing in towards one another. Inhale, reach your arms back up high. Exhale, draw them down to frame your left foot. Plant your palms in. Inhale, high plank, step back with control. And exhale, downward facing dog, hips up and back. Take a big inhale. Big exhale to let it go. We'll flow that breath to movement once through. Inhale, gaze to the top of your mat. Exhale, forward fold, toes to touch. Inhale, halfway lift, pull your shoulders back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, mountain pose, draw yourself up. Exhale, forward fold, take your time, ride your breath down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, low lunge, step your left toes back behind you, nice big step. Inhale, crescent lunge, rise up. Exhale, low lunge, swan dive down. Inhale, high plank, pull your belly button up and in. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, gaze to the top of your mat. Exhale, forward fold, toes to touch. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, mountain pose, sweep out and up. Exhale, forward fold, come back down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, low lunge, step your right toes back behind you, take a big step. Inhale, crescent lunge, rise up. Exhale, low lunge, swan dive down. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a big breath in. Big exhale out. We'll be flowing that Sun A, adding on a few changes, right? In line with our seasonal change, with our change in energy levels, trying to balance that energetic movement with a little bit of stillness, right? Summer and fall converging. So take another big breath in your down dog, and another big breath out. Inhale, gaze to the top of your space. Exhale, forward fold, toes to touch. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, mountain pose, sweep up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, pull your belly in. Exhale, low lunge, step your left foot back, nice and big. Inhale, crescent lunge, rise up, take your time. This time, exhale, warrior two. Spin your back heel down, open your arms out to a T, and really reach energetically in each direction. Then as we pause, set that base up. Give yourself that same time to adjust, right? To change. Shift forward, stack your right knee over your right ankle. Press through the pinky toe side edge of your back foot. Really ground your hips towards the earth. Reaching out, something a bit different here. Inhale, reaching crescent. Sweep your left arm forward, pivot on your left toes. Hold and breathe here. Press in through your left toes, reach through your fingertips, and pull your belly up and in. Nice and strong. Take a big breath in. Exhale, pyramid pose. Slowly straighten your front leg, come down over that towards the earth, and your back heel can stay lifted, or you could walk it in a bit. I like to feel a little bit more grounded in my pyramid pose. Foot at that 45-degree angle. All four corners of both feet pressing into the earth. And you can always have blocks under your hands, or you can stay tented up onto your fingertips. No need to go any deeper than your body tells you is good. Take a big inhale. Exhale, sink just a bit here. And maybe that just means releasing some muscles you're holding on to. On your next inhale, shift forward to that low lunge. Maybe you've got to lengthen your back foot out a bit. And exhale, high plank. Step your right foot back. Take another big inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog, hips up and back. We'll take that all to the other side. And I encourage you to come back to your intention real quick. To think about balance. Maybe this side needs something different than the other. Maybe you need a little bit slower of a pace. Maybe you want to speed things up. Think about what it is you need going into this new season, this new side, and come at it with an open mind. Inhale, gaze to the top of your space. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, mountain pose, Tadasana, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Keep that bend in your knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, low lunge. Step your right toes back behind you. Take that big step. Inhale, crescent lunge. Rise with control. And exhale, warrior two. Pivot your back foot down. Reach your arms out to a T, nice and energetically. And then pause to set up your base. Find that heel to arch alignment between your front and back foot. Know that adjusting doesn't mean you got it wrong the first time. It means you're tuning in a little bit more. Something the fall and the winter also call for. And shift your left knee over your left ankle. Press through the pinky toe side edge of your back foot. And reach your arms back out. For that funky transition, take your time. Inhale, reach and crescent. Reach your right arm forward, pivot on your right toes, and reach towards something imaginary in front of you. Maybe it's this new season. Press into your right toes, pull your belly up and in. Spin your pinkies in towards one another. Take a big inhale. Exhale, low lunge. Straighten your front leg for that pyramid pose. And take your time deciding whether you want to walk your back foot in and plant it down, or if you want to keep your back heel lifted. Nothing wrong with either variation. And you could find a little movement here if you like. No, there's no pressure to fold over deeply. You could stay nice and lifted. Strong, straight spine. Blocks, always amazing here for this pose. But keep your breath nice and big. Take one more big, full round of breath. And on your next inhale, shift forward to that low lunge. Maybe you adjust your back leg. Plant your palms in, step back to your high plank. Take a big inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog, hips up and back. Take another big breath in. Big open breath out to let it go. Inhale, reach your right heel up high. Hold and breathe here. Flex through your toe. Maybe you point it instead, but use your right glute to lift your heel up. Take a big inhale. Exhale, runner's lunge. Take your time, shift forward with intention, then plant your right foot. Drop down to your back knee. Again, another amazing place for blocks. And maybe you've got to shimmy your right foot forward a bit. Always an option to stay proud on your palms, or if it's in your practice, you could come down to your forearms, but only if it's comfortable. Know that there's no pressure. This is your practice. It's what's supposed to work for you. Let your head and neck hang nice and heavy. And give yourself some time here to open that energy center that is your left hip. your left quad here. Our equinox is special because night and day are the same length, right? That's where the whole word comes from. So work on keeping those inhales and exhales the same length here. Maybe they've got a number to them. Take another big breath in. And on your exhale, find a half split just where your foot is. Straightening your right leg, shift your hips back. Maybe press into your palms a bit like we did in that child's pose early. And on your next inhale, shift forward. And on your exhale, walk your right foot over to the left side of your mat. And lay your shin and your knee down to come into half pigeon. Adjust how you need to. Lift your heart nice and high. Make sure your foot is straight behind you. Take a big inhale. And exhale, fold over if you choose to that sleeping pigeon. Drawing your thighs in together. And giving yourself a moment of quiet here to reflect on the past season, right? We've been staying present in this moment of transition. Give yourself a moment to reflect on this past season. What brought you joy? Where could you have used more balance? Take a few breaths into that here. Start to slowly press yourself back up to your palms. Lift your heart. And then come to tuck your back toes under. And inhale, reach your right heel up high. Maybe you find a scorpion dog. Maybe you just shake it out, whatever feels good to bring some blood flow back into that leg. And we'll meet in downward facing dog for a new fresh side. Coming in with no expectations. Inhale, reach your left heel up high, hold and breathe. Flex or point through your toes, whatever feels good. But use your left glute to lift your leg up. Take a big inhale. Exhale, runner's lunge. Shift forward with intention. Bring your foot to the outer edge of your hand. Relax your back knee down. And adjust. Maybe you scoot your foot forward. Maybe you stay on your palms or come down to your forearms. We're trying to find that balance. So maybe you take a balance here of knowing when to push yourself and when to just meet yourself where you are. For me, forearms are not possible on this side. That's okay. Let your head and neck hang heavy. And just enjoy the opening of that energy center that is your right hip here. The stretching of your right quad. Maybe you imagine any tension from this last season just dissolving. And on your next inhale, breathe in deeply. And exhale, half splits right where your foot is. Straighten your left leg, draw your foot back towards you just to lengthen your hamstring a bit there. And meet yourself where you're at. No need to come all the way down to the earth. Take an inhale, press your left foot back forward. And on your exhale, shimmy it over to the right side of your mat. And come to lay your shin and your knee down for that half pigeon. Maybe you lengthen your back leg, make sure it's pointing straight behind you. And inhale, puff up your chest. Exhale, option to put your pigeon to sleep by crawling your fingertips forward, letting yourself come down, and taking that same time either to reflect on this past season or maybe to set some intentions, some hopes for this next one. Honoring the cycles, knowing that it's necessary for us to slow down, necessary for things to come to an end in order to begin. Breathe into that here for a few breaths. And start to gently press yourself back up. Pull open through your chest. And then tuck your back toes under. Inhale, reach your left heel up high. And on your exhale, option for that scorpion dog, option for just shaking out your leg, whatever brings some nice energy back in before coming back to our final down dog of practice here. Take a big inhale. Exhale to let it go. Inhale, gaze forward. And exhale, come to have a seat. Cross your legs, fold over them, and extend them out long in front of you. Feet lightly flexing back towards you. Slight bend in your knee, maybe even a block under there. And take a big inhale, rise up. Exhale, seated forward fold, Paschimottanasana. Hinge forward, really reach, right? Think about that reaching crescent. And then allow yourself to melt where it feels best. So maybe that's not grabbing your feet today, maybe it's grabbing your thighs or your calves, maybe even the mat. Letting all of that fear that we hold in our low back, our lumbar spine, dissipate here as we make some extra space. And start to slowly rise up. Plant the soles of your feet, shift forward if you need to, and start to come all the way down to your mat with control, allowing your head to rest. And pull both knees up and into center. Give them a squeeze together. And extend your right leg long. Extend your left leg long rather. And pull your right knee up and in. Take a big inhale. Exhale, supine twist. Guide your leg across your side body. Gaze out over towards the right. And invite some ease into this pose, wringing out this past season. And gently pull your knees back up and into center. Give yourself a squeeze to reset. Keep hold of your left leg this time. Let your right leg lay long. Take a big inhale. Exhale, guide your leg across your body for supine twist. Gaze out over to the left. Invite that same sense of ease in. Release any muscles you don't need to be holding on to right now. Maybe that's just in your face.
But you've got this last chance to wring it out before the official start of fall. And gently guide your knees back into center. Give yourself a squeeze. Lift your shoulder blades up and away from your mat. Wrap your forearms tight across your knees. Take a big inhale. Exhale. Final resting pose. Shavasana. Take up space. Feel the earth rising up to meet you. This equinox is all about honoring the earth, the cycles that both it goes through and you. So soak up all that energy here for as long as you need. Know that this Shavasana is here for you as you usher in this new season, this new cycle for yourself, for your life. But when you are ready, do it on your own time. Start to wake things up. And hopefully this fall holds everything for you that you hope, that it's full of new beginnings in the best way, that you're able to find balance, and that you're able to practice a parigraha, letting go, non-attachment, not holding on too tightly to the summer or to any season. Thanks for joining me today for your equinox practice or for your practice in general. All of these equinox themes, they can be taken at any time. Thank you, and have an amazing fall. Till next time.